But any topic that pertains to the category? No?
Oh,
You got a minute or two. Yeah, Judith. Judith wants to say something.
yeah, I love what you said last week, that the question and the answer weren't necessary. And then I I loved it when you talked about the hamster and the hamster wheel along those two. It was just
The
anyway.
hamster and the hamster wheel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an idea.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Okay,
thank you.
good one.
Uh, what was the first one? Part? Judith?
You have to unmute yourself, Judith. Sorry.
I got the hamster wheel. What was the other part?
Okay. Unmute
Oh,
yourself.
question answer. Question answer. All right. Well, we used to use the hamster wheel as another analogy. Obviously, it's not a wheel until a hamster's in it, yes? If the hamster isn't in the hamster wheel, there's no wheeling. So it's the hamster is the dominant meaning giver to the wheel. So the hamster would like the wheel to stop spinning while it's in the wheel. This is the pipe dream of spiritual hamsters. Yeah, they want to be there for the spinning to stop, not knowing they're the source of all the spinning. And that delusion is very persistent. What you're not wants to be there to experience its own absence. Yes? So, no hamster, no wheel. Hamster, wheel. Hamster wants to hamster without the wheeling. Good luck. Yeah. So you can't you can take the wheel out of the hamster, but you can't take the hamster out of the wheel. The whole message, it's just it's let's say the message lands, yeah, but unknowingly it was landing in let's say Kennedy Airport, and it gets sort of waylaid and it arrives at Newark Airport. Now you can say, yeah, the message landed, but you assumed it was landing somewhere else. Yeah, so the important thing is not that the message is going to land, but where does it land? So what I'm saying is, when there's the hearing of a message, let's say a message of non-duality or duality in the hopes of implying non-duality, that message, its impact is not that the message lands, it's where it lands, yeah? If the mental state claims it and places us as the hearer of the message, that neuters the message, yeah? So at that point, the lion is taking itself to be the sheep. It hears the message, it's a lion. So the message is landed, the message has been given, but it doesn't land because it gets waylaid and it gets detoured into the idea of being the sheep. Yes? This is what I ran into as the main dilemma of hearing satsang, is that the mental state is so fast in time that we don't recognize it. You can only recognize it as a process from timelessness, yeah? which is an inherent state that we are. So when we see what we're not from what we are, that's clear. When we keep looking for what we are from what we're not, that ain't clear. Yeah? So I found the message was secondary. What's more important is how it's being heard. Yeah? And so if you can recognize what's going to rise up and claim to be the hero of non-duality, and maybe, just maybe, see it as an activity from what you are, then the message of non-duality will land. And when it lands, what it informs you of is not non-duality, it informs you of duality. Yeah, it gives you the eyes to see, because you can't see duality with bifocals. You can only see it with the one eye, let's say, yeah? So there's a seeing of the duality from non-duality, yeah? Because you are of non-duality. You may be in duality as an activity, yeah? As an experiential sphere, as a time little capsule, but we're not of duality. We're of non-duality. Let's put it, there's no name for what we're of, so what they do is they negate something that we can experience, that we can know, that we can understand. And what it's not trying to understand and know what we are, it's allowing us to understand and know and experience what we're not, yeah? So that we can see we're not that, yeah? And now suddenly the message that, there you were, the message landed in Newark, and there you are at Kennedy Airport with flowers, and you got all these concepts of what it means to get non-duality, and fucking, go to the bathroom first, check out your loving gaze, and so yeah, you're getting the message, you're receiving the message. It's in Newark. It didn't land in Kennedy. Yeah, it was a direct flight to Newark, and it wasn't on the little estimated time of arrival. There's no estimated time of arrival to where you already are, yes? And there's no departures. I don't know how, there's that story we used the other day, and I love it it's just from Hinduism, I think. Ramana Maharshi used it a lot. There's a part of talks of Ramana Maharshi, there's a riff that he does where he talks about this idea of realizing is impossible because what you are is always realized, yeah? So there's no realizing of what's always realized. There's realizing from what's always realizing, and what you realize is what you're not. That's the realization. The realization is I'm not two. I'm not a subject, a hybrid thing. I'm not a flesh and a brain. I'm not mind and body. Yeah, that's what you realize. What you are is completely, fully, always realized. Yeah? So there's no point of attempting to realize that. An attempt to realize that is a denial of its innate nature, which is always realized. Don't you see it? I mean, it just tells you, if you're looking for something, it's a clue that you may not be taking yourself to be that which you're looking for, obviously. I mean, you don't need to be explained that. It's an observational event, and then you don't need 800 commentaries underneath it. It's a whack, yeah? You just see. So he did this thing with the lady and the necklace. Such a beautiful story. I know you've heard it, but it doesn't matter if you heard it, because the hearing of it is the message. I heard this before. You've already neutered it. So here's the message. Here's the story. There's a lady, has a beautiful, it doesn't even matter if it's beautiful, I'm going to embellish. She has a beautiful necklace, she's very proud of it, makes her feel really good. It gives her a sense of self-esteem, and one day she loses the necklace, yeah. Or it seemed to her she lost it, let's say. And now her whole well-being sort of is bummed out. she's like feeling like the absence of the necklace is really a big hole, and she's trying to fill it by shopping for other necklaces and rings and shit. Nothing's working. She can't find a real replacement. So she asks her friends, "Come on, can you help me look for this necklace?" Yeah, I'm really bummed out that I've lost it. And so the friends are just as much out to lunch as she is. So then they all, okay, we'll help you look for the necklace, and they go on a giant necklace hunt, and then they're not having any success, you know, because they're looking for it is based on that it's lost. They're missing a very important point. So then they get whiff of someone who's speaking in the north about he found the necklace, his necklace, and he can share with you how wonderful it is to find, be reunited with his necklace, and he can give you a path of how you'll find your necklace. And so you go to the talks, you take a bus ride, you get there, and you're sitting there listening to every word and hoping, all right, how long will it take me to find my necklace? Well, it's really based on you. It could be lifetimes. Maybe the grace of God will show up. You'll find it tomorrow. I doubt it, but keep coming back. So now she's looking for the necklace, and she's a necklace looker. Yeah, she's a seeker of necklaces. And there's, of course, while that's happening, there's an identification as that. So in time, I'm going way off of the story now, but in time, the mental state has an investment in being a loser of the necklace. Yeah. It's actually getting a whole lot out of not having the necklace. Truly. So it doesn't even want to really find the necklace at this point. So then someone comes in and says, "Hey, I heard you were looking for the necklace." "Yes, I'm a great looker for the necklace. And I've been looking and looking and looking, and I've written, bhajans and durgas, and it's the lost, the beloved is, I'm apart from it." And so the guy goes, "Hey, feel your neck." So she feels her neck, and she has a revelation. I found the necklace. And now she has great joy like she's never felt before. Huge amount of joy pouring out, tons of gratitude. But in fact, she had never lost the necklace. She just assumed she had lost something that can't be lost. Yeah? And so then she attempted to find what can't be lost, which has a guarantee of never succeeding. Yeah? Because it's premised on the wrong idea that you've lost something you never lost. And so when it came upon her and she felt it again, she thought she had found it, and she experienced great joy. But was that joy founded on the truth? It wasn't, because she had never lost the necklace. So this is what I call dreaming. So in a sense, we're dreaming that we have lost something that we've never lost, in the hopes that in the dreaming we'll find it and have an incredible peak experience. Yeah? Yes? But what happens is you may never find it again, because you're looking for it is the way it seems to stay lost. Yeah? So the whole point of the message isn't to give you a direction. It's trying to tell you every or any direction you take is blind to the fact you already are at where you are. Yeah? How much looking does it take to recognize I'm where I am? None. I don't have to look for it. And this is so important with me, because since I don't think I changed, what's coming through me hasn't changed in years now, because it's made it so emphatically clear, if this activity of selfing isn't seen from where you are, yeah, you're going to be looking from the selfing. Yeah? It's going to be, the shadow is going to accompany every move. So let's get clear about this, please. Yeah, and this is why we're here. I recognize that in time we can seem to forget what can't be forgotten. So we have satsangs, yeah? And hopefully for many of us, just by coming into the square, there's a remembering. You re-feel that, yeah? And and hopefully the habit will become a habit, and the familiarity. You know, I used to do a lot of these exercises called Qi Kung, you know, Chinese exercises, and Tai Chi. I did them, and I still do them now, for years. And when I first did it, it would take maybe 40 minutes to feel the Qi moving. Now, all I do is get to the first posture, and I feel it completely, yeah? There's no time lag. It's immediately available. The time of forgetting is so minor compared of the time of remembering here, yeah? Which is the point of the satsangs, to correct the blindness, not to give you new sight. What is to tell you the old sight's a pair of glasses. They can be taken off. Yeah, you don't need an eye operation. Just take the fuckers off. You'll see very clearly. Blue is blue and red is red. Yeah? But who the hell has felt for the necklace lately? We've just assumed that we're screwed because what we're listening to tells us we are all day. And we have great faith in the mental activity. Yeah? You can see it at all these satsangs. There's a beautiful description, and then the Pledge of Allegiance to what you're not, starting with the word but occurs. And so immediately, oh, I'm feeling fucking great, but I'm still crazy. There's constantly like and as Jesus supposedly said, you can't have two masters at one time, yeah? You can't have two masters at one time. The only way, you're never going to lose interest in you. You're going to lose interest in a you. When you see you're not that which is being implied, remembered, forecasted, when you'll lose interest in it. It's just that simple. And it's our interest that's allowing it to illuminate. Yeah? It's a reflection, a pure fucking reflection of us. Our light. Yeah? And that, you're not going to cut off the source of the supply. The source of the supply is going to lose interest. Yeah? It's going to lose interest in lighting that bulb anymore. Yeah? The bulb will still have a momentum, last maybe 10 more years, 20 more years. It's bright enough to see, you know, you can't see past your nose anyway, but you're bright enough to see your nose. Yeah? But then the interest and attention will be here now. Yeah? And not just here now, in there and then, but here now and here now. Yeah? And then you'll feel like you never get gypped. And you don't listen to the head. I mean, you hear it, but you don't listen to it, man. Jesus Christ. The thing has failed us miserably. So, all right, that's it, I think, eh?
Okay. Judith, do your goats have a butt? Anybody want to raise their hand?
Hey, Paul, before we forget, Mike has a good idea for a t-shirt. A lion that's in a sheep costume running on a hamster wheel. Then bitch slap.
And we can make it a gift that we can Zoom bomb you with.
Someone just did some really nice shirts, and I forgot to look at them for the last few days. You just reminded me.
Are they on the site?
No, they're in my email. It just came to me. I just remembered. All right. Well, any questions or anything? Shares? Nod if you understood. Yes, yes. Nod if you understood. Yes. Robert, French, nod if you understood. Yes, that isn't too hard. Judith, yes, we know that. Nick and Mike, Kerry, Mandeep, come on, nod, Mandeep. There you go. Karen, nod. There you go.
Yes, yes.
Not too hard, is it? Come on. I know that butt is in the back of your tongue, but just let it swallow.
Leave it in there.
It's best to come out the ass, not the mouth, the butt. Yeah? That's why it's synonymous with butt. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Let me see who else. All right. Yariv, nod. Yes. Sharon, yeah. There's John K. Yes. Kaiser, yes. We'll get to you in a second, Julia. We got Dennis, yes. Coco, nod, Coco. Sande, nod. Nod under the mountain. Yes? Yes, there she goes. Julie, nod. Yes, there you go. Dennis, yes. All right, I'm not done yet. Donna, yes. I know it's hard. I know it's begrudging. Yes. It's hard to live life without a butt. Yes, just this. Lad, yeah. Michael, yes. Changed hats. Just give me a nod. Just a nod. No opinion. No. Just a nod. Gary, nod. There you go. Yeah. Alan's nodded out, so he gave me the perfect nod. I just wanted a nod, not to nod out. All right, Imad. Oh, I saw the nod. Johannes. All right, come on. Mika. Yeah, yes. Brahmi, yes. Brahmi, give me that. All right. We got Holly. I can't see you nodding, but I'm believing you are. Beatrice, yes. Chris, yes. All of you, yes. Just nod. Just a humble nod every once in a while. Yeah? All right.
In the chat.
Somebody's nodding by chat.
All right, good.
Oh, he's also raising his hand, though, so maybe...
During the day, this is one of my only suggestions I'll ever give you. Just nod every once in a while. Just go. When you see a flower open for the first time, nod, yes. When you see the hummingbird or a bird, nod. Just agree with yourself, yeah? It's beautiful. Yes, Mandeep. Mandeep has a question. Or Kerry, I don't know who.
Your question was, did you understand and therefore nod? And there was a resistance to nodding within me because that which understands is not you anyhow.
No, but see underneath there, yes, that's the nod. It wasn't a thought about nod. It's not even an agreement nod. It's just a nod, yeah? You know when something's so beautiful, you just feel like nodding? Yeah. Just trying some new shticks here. What can I do?
Thank you. That sank in. Thank you. That sank in.
Thank you, Mandy.
No, that sank in. Thank you.
Thank you, Mandy. Do you get that when you're not, that which wants to get this is never going to get the message, ever?
Yeah.
Yeah. The understanding is of that. The understanding which brings an incredible relief is that the action figure, what you're not, can never get it. Can't have it, can't lose it, can't experience it, nothing. Now, if you see it from the action figure, it can be a pretty depressing revelation, yeah? But at the same time, from another place, or there's no other place, but let's say not from the action figure, is an incredible, incredible relief, yes? Relief, just to get this fundamental incapability clear. Yeah.
It's an
so
exciting
that proposition
that this is a dream. It's a very exciting proposition that thus far this is a dream.
Or dreaming. Yes. And it's not a dream, it's dreaming. Yeah. So in the dreaming, what can a failed system show you? It's failed. That's the value. It's an incredible value because you won't spend another second looking for what can't be found. You won't. Yeah? Now, the head may keep on doing things, but you will not be, a movement of the head won't be your movement. Yes? It'll be very freaking clear that there's lots of movements, but are they my movements? That's the point, yeah? It isn't about never moving again. It's about never ever being the mover. Yes?
Yeah.
That's the news. Yeah?
Okay.
So it's sort of, see, the corrections I needed as an action figure have occurred to it through a program of recovery, to tell you the truth. Yeah. So the action figure got subdued enough, was shown in the dreaming a North Star aligned with principles, and the action figure submitted itself to this program and got rearranged, yeah? Where now the dog whistle it used to put out for authorities and consequences and terrible events, that dog whistle is muted. It doesn't do that anymore, yeah? I haven't been in jail other than to visit people for 32 years, where it was lucky that I wasn't in jail for 7 straight days when I was out there, yeah? At least in a week, I'd be arrested or pulled in at least once a week near the end, yeah? So it was incapable. See, I ran into this when it came to the action figure having addiction, yeah? I was in a denial of a fact that I was powerless over substances, yeah? And that my managing life was causing it to be unmanageable. They were facts that this didn't understand, yeah? So this wasn't in agreement with those facts, and it caused a lot of fucking chaos and disruption to this and whatever anyone else that was around this orbit got affected, yes? Now, what happened with recovery is those facts that there was a denial of became surrendered to, yeah? Simple as that. Like a sober assessment, I'm fucked, yeah? Now, it wasn't anything new. It was just a fact that I was in denial of finally became clear, and there was an agreement somehow. There was a surrender, and then suddenly my life could take a whole different direction, yeah? And in that direction, I knew I didn't set the direction, nor did I produce the engine or the energy to go that direction. That something has and is continually doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. It was clear as day, completely clear, yeah? I saw the failedness of the system, the freaking GPS, completely, yeah? It happened all in a flash, but from that point on, I never picked up until this day a drug or alcohol. Nor have I ever had a strong thought or a feeling about drugs or alcohol for over 32 years now. Now, in this place of dreaming, that's a pretty damn good solution. It is. For something that was driving this, not even into insanity, through insanity, yeah? to have that radioactive isotope removed, like in a second, removed, not contained better, not fucking putting lead around it, removed. That huge urge to constantly try to get out of me as me stopped. Yeah, completely. Unbelievable. Yeah. It petered out. It had some momentum, but it wasn't like a pulsating thing anymore. And I've never had a strong thought or a feeling about drinking or using. Like a whole different life, completely with no connection to the previous 20 years. Yeah? Something has happened. Why would you want to limit that as an action figure only to that? Yeah? There's another surrender in a sense where you see the futility of using what you're not to find what you are. It's the same sort of surrender that happened with drugs and alcohol. There was a surrender in this message, in hearing the message of non-duality. Now, I didn't have to be pulled over by the police. There wasn't a giant, bunch of policemen busting through the door and intervening on my life. Yeah? It was just in a nice place with a person speaking in a monotone and good energy in the room. But the same event was available. I saw the complete futility of using what I'm not to find what I am. And I saw that as the whole root of the problem. Yeah? The whole root of the problem, Mandeep, is looking for what Mandeep thinks is the truth. That's the biggest truth in your life. That's the first one. Forget about the truth. Get these little mini truths, yeah, clear, yeah? And when they're clear, then the real truth will become fucking obvious, yeah? It's these little ones that are causing the distortion, yeah? This little one of holding out hope. If I just listen harder, read more Nisargadatta Maharaj, do something else, whatever, I'm going to get it, yeah? It's hard one to extinguish because it's constantly lighting itself, yeah, in time, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
But I'll tell you, you'll know when it's extinguished. You will know. There's no ambiguity in it. There's no, it's only for 3 months and then it comes up for review. No, it's a finality. A finality. Something is put to rest. Bye-bye. Yeah? In recovery, we call it abstinence. You're in another space, yeah? Where you never even, drinking and alcohol it's like a foreign substance from Neptune, yeah? You're just in a different world, yeah? The same with this, in a way. The point isn't, just like in recovery, drug addiction, you could look at it as a spiritual path in a way. I was trying to get out of me as me. This is what people are doing. This is what the mental state is doing quite a lot in spiritual searching. It's trying to get out of a conceptual me that another me holds, yeah? Mm-hmm. And you don't understand that you're caught in the net of self, can't get out of self. What you're not is never going to escape from what you're not. Yeah? It's what you're not is never going to escape from what you're not. And escape from what you're not would be more what you're not. We have a simple statement in recovery. It says, hey, hopefully you're at this point, hey, you got to quit playing God. All right? It doesn't work. Okay. Sounds pretty direct, doesn't it? But what happens if that which is playing God, assuming to be me, yeah, here's that message. You got to quit playing God. That which is playing God will try to quit playing God. Isn't that playing God? Ad infinitum. When will it stop? If the playing of God tries to quit playing God, that's playing of God. Yeah?
Sure.
If what you're not tries to get out of what you're not, that's more of what you're not. So let's not, don't, you don't need to be clear about what you are. You'll find that out. You need to be clear about what you're not. That's the point. What you are is a given. That's the whole assumption of non-duality. That's why it isn't direct oneness, yeah? It's a negation. Because it realized you are what you are already. There's an activity going on that's clouding that. It can't change it. It can't make it anything other than it is. You are that. But it can seem to stall a simple acknowledgement of that in time. It can, by being obsessed with what you're not. Yeah? To the point that what you're not wants to find what it is, all the while using what it is to find what it is, and not getting it when it hears a beautiful statement of Huang Po, a great Zen master, saying, hey, you can't use, hey, Paul, aka Buddha, you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. Oh, why do you think he said that? Because he probably saw Paul in the act of doing just that. So he tried to talk through Paul, not to Paul, but through him, and get to the Buddha inside Paul. It's not inside Paul, but it's, you know what I mean? But let's make it sound lyrical, inside Paul. So the message goes through Mandeep, not to Mandeep, through, and it hits Buddha. And then the Buddha hears, yeah? You can't use yourself to find yourself. And you know what? There's an incredible exhale at that moment. Yes? Yes? And the clarity isn't like a critical mass clarity. The clarity was pregnantly bursting. And at that moment, it becomes obvious. Yeah? What we need is nothing, basically. But it's just allow the inquiry, allow the curiosity, allow the earnestness, allow the sincerity, allow the willingness to be directed in the correct manner, yeah? Instead of being directed from what you're not and trying to find everything from there, to have it go at what you're not and see you're not that. And there's no thing you're going to see you're not. You're going to see a mental activity that's assuming you're a self, telling you you are going to be a self, you definitely were a self, but can never make a self. Can never. It can only imply, insinuate, historically assume. All that it can do. It can do tons of shit, but it cannot create a self. Yeah? That's the beauty. The beauty of the message, the beauty of the answer is, if you see the problem, if you see the answer from the problem, you need a solution. You need an answer. If you see the problem from the answer, there's no need for an answer. If you see the problem, the activity, from the solution, there's no need for a solution. That's part of the solution. Yes? What a fucking relief. Yeah.
So this is where I got trapped a few years ago.
No, this is where you think you get trapped. Yes. You don't get trapped. You are an untrappable no-thing. Yeah? What can get trapped is something that's an appearance. It can be seen as not so. That's being trapped. But what you are never, nor will ever be trapped. Yeah?
Right.
No way.
Correct.
I don't care how real it seems. How real can something be if it can only last for a few hours or a day? Give me a break. 80 years.
Well, I went through a phase where I could see the mind shifting between dream state and awakened state and chasing this and that. And it lasted, I don't even know how long it lasted. All I'm told is I was going through spontaneous laughter during that period. And I have vague recollections of it. And I'm trying to chase that state again.
Yes, bro. This is what you gotta, yeah. Just recognize it's not about stopping that chase. It's just seeing what's chasing it isn't you. Please, really. If you get caught in its trap is you trying to stop doing that. Yeah? It's sort of like they say, you can't use agitation to produce stillness. That would be agitation, yes? So you're telling agitation not to be agitated, which just agitates it even more. Yeah? Just see you're not that. Please. Yeah? It's like you're going in the right direction. Just do like in basketball, there's the Euro step, It threw everyone out in the pro basketball. Everyone in the beginning in America, they call it a foul. They call it traveling. But then they realize, no, it's just a weird step. It takes to the side. It's not an extra step. It just goes this or that way. That's what we're doing with this message, yeah? We're doing it. That sure looks like a foul. It ain't a foul. You're just gonna go, you don't have to run into it. You just go around it. And it doesn't know what the fuck happened. Because its mental logic is rigid. Its mental logic can't respond to an improvised move. Yeah? Yeah. I don't know if you know pro basketball. I just threw it in the...
Yeah, my son plays basketball.
There was a guy who came to the Golden State Warriors, started with an M, from Eastern Europe. He got called foul, a penalty every time with this Euro step. He was like the precursor. Now they're all doing it. Yeah, exactly. You see? The thing wants you, it's going to tell you, yeah, you want to get that. That was so fucking juicy. See, it's doing its routine on you. What you do is don't try to vanquish that. You just do a Euro step around it. And then get behind it and go, who's that? Because that which is implied to be Mandeep is always going to be, right, on this side of the camera. Yeah. You're before. You're on this side of the camera. It's constantly assuming and insinuating it's here. That's good.
Yeah.
Then we could have Sharon's mushroom story and in about a year from now, Sharon, that will be my story. I'll be saying I wanted chocolate and I thought it was like a whatever, a shiitake chocolate or a rishi. All right, anyone else? Mandeep, thank you for sitting through all that. Mandeep, yes. Nod. Yeah, there you go. Very good, very good. All right, Mike. Anyone else?
Yeah, Michael, he's unmuted if he wants to go.
All right, Michael.
No, he muted himself.
Michael?
He was unmuted, now he's muted.
Yes.
He's trying to. All right, Michael.
Yeah, definitely a hard act to follow for sure. Yeah, what I was going to mention was that I first started listening to you about 5 years ago from the YouTube videos. And at that time, I was doing a lot of big nodding. Yes, yes. It was loud and clear. But as I've mentioned before, that I suffer from PTSD. And so things will go fine for a number of years, but then a trigger will happen. And then it throws everything right out the window. So like 5 years ago,
It doesn't throw everything right out the window, though. Try to be a little more, when you share, watch how it turns into extremes. Everything is lost, you just watch it. It's an advertisement while we're speaking, yeah.
Yeah, it's just I'm comparing to like 5 years ago when this message and also my interest in Zen and that kind of thing really made a lot of sense to me. It felt right. It aligned with something inside of me. And then when these things get triggered and throws everything in my life and everything into a real chaotic state. And then, so like today, when you're asking about, everyone nod, I couldn't do a nod. 5 years ago, I would have been doing a big nod. And now I'm just kind of like, well, I don't know. There's a lot of arguments in my head. Whereas
Yeah.
5 years ago, there was a lot of just yes, yes, yes. Now
Yes.
it's like, yes, but, and I have an intellectual argument going on in my head all the time. And my most recent one is that I don't think would have happened 5 years ago was this idea of not having free choice, for example. And I thought I would do a little experiment the other day. So I thought I was going to test it on myself. When I went for my walk, I usually turn left when I get out of the driveway. I stopped and said, okay, I'm going to choose to go right instead of left. And so my head's saying, aha, see, you do have freedom of choice. So there's that kind of argument that's happening so much now compared to that it wouldn't have happened 5 years ago. And it's disappointing. And I don't know why it could be so good at some point, then, things that triggered this other problem that I have, throw it, a lot of it out the window, maybe not all of it.
Well, yeah, maybe not all of it. Not all of it. Yeah. Well, you need to get some. Hopefully, you've learned some skillful means to deal with the situation when it triggers. But the fact remains the same. Now, you can be in agreement with it or not. It doesn't change the fact. So, and in AA, we have a point in AA where I don't want to use that right now, but sometimes when people get introduced to this idea or what we're pointing at, the system doesn't take it lightly. Yeah, the thought system and the programming retaliates. A lot of people go through something, yeah, either physical or they have a cathartic event, and not all of it is like jumping on lily pads. Yeah, there can be a sense of mortal terror and shit like that, but the underlying thing is, before all this claiming of being Gary and Gary 5 years ago and now Gary with PTSD and Gary yesing in the past and Gary now stubbornly intellectually arguing it, what's before is still before. The seeing that you're reporting as Gary doesn't come from Gary. It was allowed to be seen by the seeing. Yeah, awareness is still exactly where it's been.
It's Michael.
What?
You're saying Gary, it's Michael.
Oh, Michael, I don't know. It doesn't matter, Gary. Sorry.
That's my alias. That's what I use when I write bad checks, Gary, so it's okay.
All right. But do you see, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not arguing with you. Because on one level, you can be as right as you want to be. It doesn't change the fact. Yeah? The only way you have any idea of Michael is not from Michael, it's from awareness. Yeah? Awareness is the field that's everything's appearing in. You can be in agreement with that or not, and if you're trying to be in agreement with it as Michael, you see how that's not working. So that's how it succeeds. It shows you it's a failed system. You have a story now, oh, everything is great as long as it's great, but when the shit hits the fan, it's nowhere to be found. That's not true. That's just the experiencing you're having. That's the narration, yeah? Nothing, in fact, has changed one bit. The basic alignment hasn't changed by your experience. It hasn't. Or you having PTSD or not. It hasn't. Now, if you want to You know, I just see a lot of Michael in it, that's all. Yeah, and so Michael can go battle it out with non-duality Michael and now PTSD Michael, but there's neither of them, yeah? There's the idea of non-duality, and now there's the experience of PTSD at this moment, yeah? And it's sort of a dread because there was non-duality, and before there wasn't the experience of PTSD. This happens. This is what happens, yeah? Life happens here. And this is the idea on the level of Michael and Paul is the goal isn't, we're not shooting for a very high target. As the action figure, just traveling lighter is more than enough, yeah? And it doesn't mean you're never going to have PTSD. It means you're going to travel lighter through PTSD, yeah? It's going to mean that, well, how is that going to be shown? Well, maybe you'd be bummed out for 4 days. Now you're bummed out for 8 hours. That's a fucking huge improvement in this place of time. So, I mean, the surface doesn't give value to the awareness. The awareness is in and of itself all there is. Yeah. If you're, you know, agreement or disagreement doesn't matter because it's the identification with the one. Yeah. The agreement has been used to claim there's a one that was in agreement 5 years ago. Now there's one that's not in agreement 5 years later. You're neither of those ones, yeah? The direction, the message, the pointing has nothing to do with physical, emotional, mental conditions. The pointing is to a fact. That's all it is, yeah? That's it. Now, if you're in agreement with that, or if you're the you that's in agreement with that, you may be the you that's not going to be in agreement with that. Yeah, but that is that. So I just like to see the activity of selfing because it's working. It's doing its number. It has you so assured. It's not you. It's it. It's got a good story. It is. Yeah. You have PTSD now, and PTSD is triggering it, and it's causing a huge effect, so that degree is sufficient enough to verify that it's fucking real. All right, this happens a lot, yeah? But I always like to look at what's behind that all. Who is this Michael that's standing on this PTSD? Who is it? Yeah. Was it the same Michael that was standing on non-duality? Probably, yeah. So, yeah. I'm happy to see you, and I hope you feel better and travel lighter. And whatever allows that to happen, I hope you find it, really. Yeah? But see, you could question maybe a methodology, but this is an invitation, you know? If either you got a sense of it or you don't. You know, we've never had a draft, or it's not about a consignment or, you know, we're going to enlist you into this idea. No, we're just sharing it and putting it out there. And I've noticed a lot of people, on one level, may have been better never hearing it because it's caused a lot of confusion because they were doing better with the bottom of the sea not being shook up, yeah? Even though they didn't have unlimited ocean, it was better than having it stirred up and maybe have to look at shit, yeah? This is what happens. But hey, each one of us have an invitation, yeah? Things have happened to me where I thought I was going to be riding off into the sunset, and now I'm with a beautiful woman who has 4 kids and an insane ex-husband, yeah? How the fuck did that happen? But I felt the invitation and I'm showing up for it, yeah? Because I don't argue with what is. I don't. You don't win. You don't win that argument. So, yeah. But I care about you, bro. I don't know you well, but I know you. So keep coming back. Or not. And don't nod or nod. But know you're a lifetime member of ZenBitchSlap.com. You can't revoke the membership.
Thank you.
Thank you, and sorry, Gary, Michael.
Stanley.
Thank you, Gary and Michael. Gary's up next.
Hey, Paul. It's
Hey, Gary.
okay. It's okay. It fit pretty well anyway.
That's right, yeah.
So I wanted to share an insight that confirmed something I've heard you say that, but I got it this time. It's like that selfing persists, because and that the thing can't be tamed. Because I realized what I've been doing here's a story that kind of illustrates it. Many years ago, I smoked a lot, and I was trying to quit smoking, and so I quit for a week, and then I decided I think I'll reward myself for not smoking for a week. So guess what I did?
Yeah.
I had a cigarette. That
Yeah.
was my reward, and and then I was smoking again. So what I saw is that you can't tame this beast. It's going to do a turnabout on you, and it's going to say, "Oh yeah, now you can go do that thing, and it'll be cool because you know I'm cool now. I'm tame. I'm going to do just what you want." But
Yeah.
I saw this, and it was a good thing to see. The beast is not going to be tamed. He's
No.
not going to stay in this little cage in the corner. As soon as you let him out, he's going to go do what he always did. Only he'll probably co-opt what you said, or you know what you're thinking about, and turn it into, oh yeah, now I've got it. Now I've got it. And so I just wanted to thank you for bringing that out, because that's a new seeing for me, that to see that, oh, that beast can do a little twisty thing, and I think I'm on top now, but he's just rolled over and he's got me in a different hold.
Yes.
So
He hasn't.
well,
The thing is, you know what it does, Gary, too? It tests you concerning what you are, and it always sets you up to fail. So it's unbelievable, really. That's why in recovery, I landed at a place where, because we have a thing called the higher power. Yeah, it's very significant in the program of recovery. And so, and people, to make it more accessible to people, the people who founded AA said, hey, you can have a higher power of your own understanding. In other words, you're not going to have to take anyone else's idea of God. Nothing's going to be forced upon you. And so I got into AA, and then what happened is, over time, my idea of this higher powers changes under its influence, really. And so I realized I didn't want to have a higher power of my own understanding. I'd rather have a higher power of its own understanding. Yeah? So the mental state likes to be the higher power about what you are. And it's giving you its understanding of what it would look like for you to be what you are. And it's got a lot of requirements. And you can blow it at any second and be put back to the beginning again. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like unbelievable. And it does it on a crude level and a subtle level. It's always putting a consideration or a requirement for you to be that which you already are. Yeah? This is the freedom from the need to fulfill any requirements. Yes? Because they're going to change. They're all written in sand. They have no weight other than the one we give them, and there's no fucking truth to it. Yeah? If you feel shitty, purifying the body will be good for the body. Yeah? The idea of you have to purify. What happens when you take a shit every day? I mean, that's pretty fucking ugly, you know? It doesn't seem, when do you get to the level of being a pure soul when you're still shitting and pissing, you know? It's ridiculous. It's insane to let that play God about God. Yeah. It is. It's totally insane. Now, you can't give it an inch. See, if there is a possibility that perhaps maybe something could separate me from God or whatever, from what I am, it plays that for eons. That's like 800,000 football fields. That one little inch you give it, it projects it to be thousands of miles. Yeah. And then you have these soliloquies of how far away you are from the truth and how disconnected you feel. And other people, they write ballads about it and songs and shit like that. And it sounds great, but it's baloney. I did this thing once in Australia. I went through in like an 8-day, I didn't even know what was going on. I picked up a girl hitching. I'll tell you the story. It's a pretty good story. I was living with a woman in Australia, and she had a sort of a crazy one thing I had to promise her never to do. Yeah, she asked me only one thing, and that was picking up a woman hitchhiker. It's far out. So a couple years, and we broke up, and then so a couple weeks later, after we broke up, there was a woman hitchhiker, and I picked her up. I wouldn't have done it for the last 3 years, but there she was. So she gets in the car, and she's from France, and I like accents, So she starts telling me about this thing that's going to happen, this therapeutic retreat. Now, I'm interested in listening to her, really. I'm not interested in the retreat. So I say, well, can we stop and you can tell me more about it? So she tells me, and on the brochure was something I've used ever since, supposedly by St. Francis. What's looking is what you're looking for. So I called up the number. Yeah, this was a trip. And I'll tell you the whole story. It's pretty interesting. I called up the number and they tell me about it. And I said, all right, maybe I'll come by for an interview. And yet, but I had a consideration. I wanted to buy a round the world ticket, and it was expensive to do this retreat. So I called up the travel agent, and she had done this retreat in the past, and she told me, don't worry, do the retreat and you'll go on the trip anyway, which I like that kind of thinking, yeah? Inclusive thinking. So I did. I went to the interview and I signed up. I didn't know anybody in this fucking group. They were all from Osho, Rajneesh, and they had a huge Rajneesh community. So there I am. There's 40 something people, and broken up in 3 groups with all these people holding the space, and it's wonderful. And in the day they put on music, and everyone go into cathartic events and crying, and so I was going in this incredible event, and I was weeping, and I was going, I can never get back. I can never get back. And they thought this was a very high event, so I was like I was the first one released. I mean, I got the highest grade, so to speak. You know what I mean? But then in hindsight, after I entertained these ideas, I realized why I can never get back is because I never left. Yeah? There I was crying, pouring. I could have written like 800 poems. I can never get back. I fucked up so bad. I've separated completely forever. But the fact was, the reason why I can never get back is I never left. That's the whole message. The whole message is that. Yeah? Why can't I arrive? You never left. Yeah? Why are you telling me I can't get it? Because you are it. That's why. We're not sadists. We don't enjoy your fucking confusion and shit. We're just pointing out the fact you can't arrive at where you already are. You'd have to assume you're somewhere else, which is the act of selfing. There's an assumption we're somewhere else, and we're someone else that wants to get to some other place. But in fact, we are that. Yeah? Simple as that. That's why it didn't work. And I swear, I believed it. I was crying like a baby. People were soothing my brow and walking me around and taking me out to the sunset. Oh, I can never get back. Because I never left. That's simple. Yes? Yes. See, this is the beauty. You know what? That experience could have driven me crazy the rest of my fucking life. I could never get back. It was so sweet. It was so joyous. I should try to get back forever. No, thank God it was corrected. I would have been stuck in a fucking made-up, manufactured little world of self, trying to get out of self. Yeah? Which is a fact. Self can't get out of self. And if the self is called Coco or Gary or Paul or Mary, the statement adheres to everyone. There's no individual exemption because Coco, Gary, Paul is AKA self trying to get out of self. It's a fact. It can't happen. It won't happen. It ain't going to happen. And it never did happen. The story that Coco or Paul was totally disappeared and freed isn't true. You had an event, but the story about it is not capturing the event. It made it into something else that's now enslaving you. Yeah?
Yeah, you weren't getting an A, you were getting an F.
Exactly. But in a certain group, there I was, got a lot of creds, fuck.
Yeah.
I could have been like walking around bemoaning the fact I could never get back for years. I'd have a huge following probably with all these people that feel they've left and they can never get back.
Thank God that one passed by.
We'd have shirts. I know you left and you can never get back.
The sweet sorrow of it.
Yeah, exactly. See, self is a many-splendored activity.
Trickster.
It is. It will put the garments of grief on itself. It will put the fucking robes of joy on itself. It can fit into any costume. Give it a second or two, it'll get the lingo, it'll get the fucking look, it'll mimic like a chameleon. It will. Yeah? And there'll be a whole joining of a lot of chameleons, chameleon in a way. Yeah? Whoever can keep the color the longest is the purest chameleon. This isn't about, see, the other day we were talking about, this isn't about getting anywhere, really. It's not about getting anywhere. I have trouble with my legs and stuff, I find skillful means, yeah? It feels better when I'm in the ocean than on land. My joints got all broken, so it likes water better. So I go to the water as much as I can. There's no fucking thought about it. It's just that's what happens, yeah? Do I think I'm doing the skillful means for me? No. Yeah? But the skillful means are applied for sure. I find no conflict with it. The action figure, yeah, has its role and its meaning in a much larger space of what we are. They're not in conflict, yeah? What the larger space brings to I'm using a term, smaller space, is acceptance, where I couldn't find any acceptance in the smaller space. As Paul, I couldn't. Paul was convicted. Paul needed to be punished. Paul separated from the truth. Yeah? Paul fucked up. Yeah? So I was convicted from the get-go, since I was young. There was no winning. There was never going to be relief. It was all transactional. It was all a fucking tithing, yes? It was an enslavement in a way. An enslavement to ideas and thoughts. Yeah?
Never changing.
The freedom is from the bondage of self. The freedom is from the need to be liberated. I am freed from the need to be liberated. That which needed to be liberated is not me. Yeah? Yeah. Definitely. And it doesn't have pocket change to buy another spiritual book. I got to give him the money. And he's not getting any money.
Because you've seen his act.
What?
You know where that money goes.
All right, go. I got to go to the next one. See you guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, Gary. I know their hands now. Anybody wants to raise their hand? Kaiser.
Kaiser.
Hey, Paul. So yesterday on another Zoom meeting that you ran, I asked you a question, and I'm just reiterating because some people might not have been there. I was asking a question about like a conscious contact with a higher power, which is kind of what we're talking about. And I was worried about maybe something was retracting. And then you had pointed out that noticing the retracting could have been me, which is the conscious contact, and then the worrying about going away is not me. And that was really helpful. I mean, all this stuff, the only thing I get is like blink eyes. Like, I'm just like,
Great.
like that's it. I don't get any of this really big stuff. Like I feel almost embarrassed, like a cartoon character, like that's as good as I can get. I'll take the blink eyes because I'm not suffering as much, but that's all I'm getting. I don't think there's something wrong with that, but I mean, I don't understand it, but it just works. I'm just, thank you anyway. I'm just saying thanks.
Great. Yeah. You don't understand, it just works. Exactly. So for it to work, there doesn't need to be an understanding. Yes. Is that understood? Yes. There you go. Oh, there's Z. Z, my main man. I haven't lost my phone or my keys. All right. Who else? Who's next? Coco Vallis. I'm going to make a trip to Toronto just to get a raw dessert sooner or later. I'll take the 14-day quarantine. It's worth it to me. I will. All right. Anyone? No one wants this question? Cool. John Walker, nice to see you. I'm just going to say hello to everyone here. Mandeep, nice to see you, Mandeep. Yeah. Karen, you took it well, Karen, today. Yes, just all the blows coming right at you. Pretty good. We got Nick and Mike. Yeah. Next year, it'll be a sitcom. Nick and Mike. Nick and Mike go to Encino. Judith, nice to see you, Judith. We got Robert French. I said you, Robert, nice to see you. Are you the New Zealand guy?
Yeah, I'm from New Zealand, Paul.
Good to see you, Robert. Yariv, my main man. Yariv, you weren't in that cult that wanted to get behind the sun, were you? Remember that cult that wanted to get? There was a spaceship behind the sun. They were down in L.A. You just look like the head of the cult. So. Sharon, nice to see you, Sharon. Stay away from any chocolate. We got John K. Nice to see you, John. Sanda, I've given Mike the information for people who are interested. Yeah? Yeah. I'm going to come when no one else is there. Dennis, nice to see you, Dennis. I hope your son...
The name of that spaceship. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you look like him too. You do. Yeah. Yeah.
The name of that cult is Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate. Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't they have like jogging outfits? They all wore the same jogging outfits.
And black Nike shoes.
We're gonna start doing that with Zen Bitch Slap. Yeah.
Cool. Sign me
There's
up.
Coco and her lovely dog still hanging around. Taking care of Coco, really. Yeah. James iPhone, we got Michael, Z, we got Brahmi, we got Gary. Gary, man, the corner's getting large, Gary. Fantastic. Very good. Michael's come back. He's got a different hat from last week. Nice to see you, Michael. We got Johannes. He's on the road to recovery. He's happy. Vlad is taking the role of Alina, laying his head on the wall. You see, the difference is Beatrice has her head on a pillow, and then Vlad, he's got the Siberian spirit. No pillow, it's on the wall. He used to put his head on a slab of ice. Doesn't bother him one bit. We got Alan. Nice to see you, Alan. You were out. You took a nod early, Alan. You went to sleep. That was very good. That's the best way to get the message. Guys, Julie. Nice to see you, Julie. Take it easy with yourself, please. Yeah. Randy, yes. I can't see your face, Randy, but I know you're there. Huey, I can't see you. Donna, Holly, Wilfredo Ramos, a lot of other, Sina, Nancy, Susan Kempton hasn't made an appearance in a while. There she is. Deepak, there's Amelia. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it, and I hope we can at least, enjoy some of the laughs. Yes.
Yes.
Nod.
Yes.
Nod. Yes. There you go, John Walker. Yes, Mandeep.
Yes.
And we're going to have a butt-free environment now. Zen Bitch Slap is going to be called the butt-free environment. Yeah. I feel really great, and then we'll mute the butt and just, I feel, what? I can't handle that. Yeah, you'll get used to it. All right.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks,
I'll
Paul.
see you, everybody. I'll see you Saturday, I hope. And tomorrow in recovery. See you.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Paul.
Paul.
Thanks.
Hey, never hesitate to donate. Remember, never hesitate to donate. That's not your mind. That's intuition. Follow it. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye, Paul.